Hey everybody, and welcome to the Knife Lab. Today in the Knife Lab we're looking at this knife, the Karcher K2 high pressure water sprayer. Bit strange, I know, not my usual stuff, but I got one of these about a month ago and I've been using the heck out of it, and I've really enjoyed it, and I thought it might make an okay video. Some people might be looking around Christmas time, something to get their dad or their mum, or it's just one of those things that a relative or you may not own, but is probably about the most fun you can have cleaning. And as I've kind of discovered as I've been using this, there isn't too many problems in life you can't solve by directing a high pressure burst of water at it. So yeah, this is there's a range of Karchers. They make smaller ones for kids to clean their bikes and stuff. This seems to be the most base level of the main range, which are all abbreviated by K. I think 2 through to 9 or through to 7 or something like that. I think in the past I've had a K4, one that was a little bit more powerful. I always found that at a certain point the water pressure begins to strip paint and that sort of stuff, which is something you may need, but it's never something that I've really needed. And I like to just kind of fire and forget, use the most powerful setting, and just kind of, without having to worry too much about swapping heads and that sort of thing. And also it was the cheapest, it was the least expensive. This is about $180. So what this is, it's got an electric pump in here, which you plug in via the power cord here to the power, and then you put a hose into the back, and the electric pump creates pressure, and then you attach a nozzle, which is one of these two that come with it, or if you just want to wet something down, you can just use the basic trigger without anything. You can also use different soaps, and there are many attachments that Karcher makes that allow you to do some things slightly better, like cleaning gutters or cleaning up thin pipes, and there's a brush attachment for cleaning cars and all that sort of good stuff. They make their own range of sort of cleaning, I guess, chemicals or soaps as well, that variously, depending on the model, are absorbed usually by some kind of sucking tube. So in this one here, there is a sucking tube. So just a quick tour of the thing. This black handle here thing, it comes disassembled. I'm not sure if I can pop it off again. Once you get this thing together, I think you'll generally just leave it together. It comes kind of modularly. This hose attaches quite decisively to the bottom of the trigger pistol thing here. I haven't been able to really get it off, nor has there ever really been a need to get it off. I'm just kind of at that point where I don't want to break it trying to get it apart just for the sake of it. So this spray here, this hose is about 5 meters long. It's quite, it's designed to be like run over and sort of bent and kinked without causing any problems. So it's kind of got a real sort of stiffness or strength to it. So you get a length of that. This, as I said, is attached and allows you to sort of steer and move it around. The wheels, once you attach them, I'm sure I could pop them off, but that's just for sort of dragging the unit back and forward. And then got the power cord here, which is about 3 or so meters of power cord, which is cool. It's generally something that you're going to be using an extension cord with, I've found. And yeah, at the back here, there's the water input, and that it comes with its own little pre-fit threaded hole that you can then attach its little sucker to as well. At the back here is the little sucking hose, which you can use to suck up and then sort of mix inside the machine, which then just comes straight out. The detergents and things that Karcher makes, as well as I would dare say most other detergents as well, I'm sure would be fine. I guess for the ultimate in, if you're putting things actually through the machine, I guess stick with the Karcher stuff, I suppose, but I'm sure anything that's designated as a high pressure cleaning soap would be totally fine as well. Of note, this model here in particular, I'm not sure about the other ones, when you've got the higher pressure nozzles on, there isn't enough sort of suck in the machine. I think it's just going all towards push to get anything out of this tube. So this machine here, it generally is just for apply the soap with just the naked nozzle, so without any hose attachments plugged into it. So detach your hoses and then you just apply soap. Then you use your higher pressure hoses to, I guess, blast the soap area, which is what I've been doing, and to absolutely great effect. So these have great applications for if you've got outdoor pets. It's great for every now and then cleaning up your outdoor pet area. Like I know my dogs, I'll feed them in their bowls, but they'll pick out various bits of it that they like, that they don't like. You end up with greasy stains on the floor and that sort of stuff, especially if you give them a bone or something or a big slab of meat every now and then. Cedric will get most, he's got a pretty, his tongue's a bit of a hoover itself. He'll get most of it off with the cement. But then there's always a couple of like discoloured marks on the floor. And eventually it kind of builds up that kind of doggy smell outside as well a little bit. Because I got big dogs. I don't take them to the pampering pooch every other day. They're big outdoor dogs that live stinky lives. And so eventually it starts to stink up just outside, like the house where they generally spend most of their time. So I blast that out with this every now and then, it's great. It's also really good for cleaning under eaves. In Australia you get a storm and you'll notice that every spider in the world moves underneath your eaves just outside your house, and it's really good to give them the old heave ho and make it a bit less endearing for them to set up their houses in your house, so that's really good as well. And also I hit the outside of my car with it. This doesn't give you like a pristine car wash, like it just doesn't. You still want to use either a chamois or you want to go to a special laser wash with a spot-free rinse. But if you take your car somewhere really muddy or there's been like a dust storm or something, which we've had heaps of lately in Australia, in my area of Australia anyway, really good just for getting like bulk grime off of your car. One thing I would recommend is before using this, use like a cordless blower or something just to get the main debris out of the area that you're wanting to clean, or even if you're hitting a dusty car, just to loosen that top layer of dust so you get less actual liquid mud and just more actual blasting cleaning. So there you go. Look, overall, and this is a bit of a quick review, but this is a great thing to get someone who may not have even occurred to have this sort of thing at all. I know that my previous one that I had, before I had it, I had no idea that this could be like such an effective way of cleaning the outside of my house. You'll find yourself getting that really good sort of clean cement sensation where you can really kind of watch the proper layer of grime come off the cement. This pressure is 1750 psi, which for me and my uses is more than enough. You can get up to, I think, 2400 or something. You can get a lot higher pressure from Kärchers. They'll use higher power and they'll have different applications. And I'm sure they'll get various levels of, if you want to really get that stubborn car-like oil off of your driveway or something, if you have that sort of problem going on, you might want to get a higher pressure Kärcher and then maybe one of the solvent cleaners as well. There's a few other options that they have and other things you can get in the range. Kärchers myself, I know most other tool companies, so say Ryobi, Makita, AEG, most of them make their own either electric powered or petrol powered or gas powered pressure cleaners. I generally have gone with Kärcher because I think they're almost like the dedicated company for it. They seem to be, this is their specialty rather than just generally powered tools. I think they're made in Belgium. I've never had an issue with any of the durability of the parts. The lock together mechanisms are really, really strong and the springs are really high quality. I've had these sit outside. My previous one sat outside for years just because I didn't have storage space for it. And the springs never went stiff or rusted or anything like that. Basically what I'm talking about is when you plug these in, there's a bit of a spring back. So you find the spot that it goes. It's a push and a twist. And specifically once they've had this plugged in for a while, sometimes on the less decent ones, the little micro parts start going and it's really hard to sort of push and twist your parts and get them out again. So I haven't ever had a problem with a Kärcher for that as well, and that can be really annoying if you did. So overall, the machine unit is great, and the two wands you get, fairly similar, but this is just the more sort of conical one here. This is just pure high power, so this will just give you like a circular blast at the highest that I think it can get. It's really kind of reinforced, thick, strong plastic. This is a bit of a variable and it's a bit of a fan shape, so it shoots out a sort of a thin, like I guess a bit like this sort of shape of water beam, and you can have it going from fairly soft, which is just kind of for loosening up stuff or soaking things, and then the hard is probably only just a couple of steps below this one in terms of it really does get that first layer of grime out of cement, all that good stuff. I use this one for washing my car just because I'm still a bit worried about any paint damage, but I use this one for blasting just about everything else in my house. So really, really cool. The rods are held pretty intelligently just on the back of the system here. Just plug them in and click, click. And there they go. And yeah, the whole thing stores relatively neatly. One thing you do notice is this hose, given that it's really like strong and obviously made to withstand high pressures, it can kind of get some pretty stubborn kinks in it after a while. It's just one of those problems you work out by starting the machine and just letting this kind of twist and untwist and dangle around a bit. And you get there in the end, minor annoyance. Another thing is that when you have this fully running, you're going to have this hose kind of near you in your hand, and then you're going to have a power cord, and you're going to have a garden hose, all sort of vying for supremacy on the floor. So you just be mindful of where you use it. I generally just fix it in a pretty certain spot and find the 5-meter hose is long enough to do all the work. So that's how I've been using it anyway. At any rate, I just thought I'd give you a quick rundown of the Karcher. I just think it's really cool. Been really enjoying using it, and the K2 I recommend if you're just after something for keeping the outside of your house nice and neat. Oh, there's also this attachment which you can fill with basically any detergent you wish. I've filled it with like kitchen sponge detergent, and it just fluffs it up and makes a nice foam mixing with the water, and you can you know, coat like the whole side of your house with fuzzy detergent, let it sit, and then blast it off, and I find it gets some pretty good results as well. You can get one with a bigger tank for an extra $5. I just kind of got it to see if it was worth anything, and it's actually quite nice. I think if I could do it again, I'd probably get the bigger tanked one. So there's that too. Alright, bye bye.